Name's Steve Joyce, and I am a teacher at Timberline Secondary, have been here since the school opened, and I've run outdoor programs here for 25 years. I went to Capilano College and took the outdoor recreation and leadership program back in the early 80s. And my practicum was working as a park naturalist at Manning for BC Parks, and fell in love with that. On the side, at that point, I was still guiding, teaching canoeing and backcountry travel and cross-country skiing and telemark skiing. I went to work for a company in Vancouver called Coast Mountain Sports, and then that led to a public education program and a ski school and a race series. And all through that, guiding, canoeing, teaching skiing, it all started to fall into place that I like to teach. I went into university late, at 30, and worked towards becoming a teacher, and then came here. Thought I was going to run an outdoor program right off the bat, and discovered that, of course, they need to get to know you before they let you take kids into the backcountry, go figure. And when they opened Timberline Secondary, the opportunity came to create a culture. And so I said, hey, how about an outdoor club along with a Global Issues Club? And they said, outdoor club? Great idea. In those days, it was just a bunch of kids who were keen about going outdoors. The gear was random, whatever we could pull together. There were even people with pack frames and manky old tents their parents had. And we all went out, we had a great time, and then we expanded it from just hiking and paddling to doing a day in the snow, to doing winter camp, to doing avalanche courses. Outdoor Adventures, in its form now, started in 2014. It's a full-on, full semester course, so I teach English 11 or 12, whatever the kid needs. Comparative cultures, which runs from First Nations to ancient Greece to Japan and Thailand and Tibet. And then physical geography. So it's cool, so I can take them to Cape Scott and we can talk about beach development and ocean interaction with the coastline and look at all the way that the waves form our coastlines, and the kids are in it. I'm not showing them a textbook or a video. And we walk through the forest and we talk about the First Nations who lived there before, and then the pioneers who came in, and so they tie into the various groups that are there, and they're there. So this classroom actually expands to the whole region, from the north end of Vancouver Island all the way to Victoria.
The COLT program is a 100-day program where you experience and get certified in a handful of different outdoor activities. It's just a really amazing experience where you really get to grow as an individual.
We considered its sort of start date as 77 the first time we did a semester, but we started doing training that really was skills training and like weekend courses and stuff probably in about 1970. Once you realize all the different skills you need to keep people safe, how much first aid you might want to have, and how well you need to be able to paddle, and how much good your rope skills need to be, and how good your survival skills need to be, we realized, okay, we need better trained people.
It's a completely different style of learning. Everything you're learning feels so holistic and touches all your senses. You're really building that sort of intuitive awareness of the natural world. Really changes the way you interact with the world. And beyond that, it's just a lot more fun.
As we all know, when you leave your pond, you're put into positions or places where you've never met people, and you need to work in a team environment with people you may not have initially thought you could. And we have a range of ideas, dreams, political views, artsy as opposed to industrial views, with kids in here, science fiction, classical, those sorts of things. And so these kids get to know through teamwork that everybody has something to bring to the table, and they learn how to use that. The motto of the program is responsibility to self is responsibility to the group. So if you look after yourself, the group doesn't have to, but then that gives you the opportunity to help and focus on what the group needs. Then the skills, fairly wide-ranging skills, from the most basic of backcountry stuff to fairly advanced. Then they have the language and they have the comfort to go out in the backcountry. We talk about zero impact camping, minimal impact camping. We talk about how we dispose of water away from water sources and how we don't leave mess for animals and how we leave the place better than we found it so the next group doesn't see that we were there. Through all of those adventures, you see kids getting sparked. This is something I'd like to do.
Community of Colt is really tight-knit. You get to experience so much together in so many vast environments that it just really creates this quite unique bonding experience.
Living, working, playing, eating, sleeping, doing absolutely everything together really forces you to be as tolerant as possible to other people's values and really learn how to work with those value differences in order to resolve conflicts and have as much compassion as possible towards other people. We came from a bunch of different backgrounds, being thrown into this environment where you have to meld and bond with each other in order to get through. Learning how to have deep, meaningful, cross-current communication and conversations, which, to be honest, I think are probably going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
I think the biggest challenge is just that the whole program is go, go, go. You do get a couple of days off in the 100 days, but you are kind of going from one big adventure to the next big adventure to the next big adventure. You come out of this amazing experience and you kind of are like, oh my gosh, that was an intense 100 days. But now I have all of this experience and all of these certifications, and it really sets you up to work in the outdoor industry in a lot of different capacities. Some people have gone off commercial guiding, some people are working at other outdoor centers. It kind of sets you up for a variety of different career opportunities.
I guess I've been a relatively patient person, but being a teacher, I've developed the ability to stand back and take a breath. And I think that's time and mellowing perhaps, but also to sort of approach things with a new eye. Again, that's something that I really love being with these kids. They'll see something I've been seeing for years and they'll say something about it and I'm like, boom. We were hiking out to the canyon and it just hammered. So for a while I had the kids under the trees and we're just watching sheet down on either side of us. And the kids were talking about what they're gonna make for dinner, what's that plant over there, hey, that's funny. And you gotta remember that a lot of these kids, 4 weeks before, had never met each other. When you take them to places like that, they're forced to bond, they have to make the best of what they're dealing with. And then when the rain stops and you come around the corner and they look at, everything's just been washed by the rain and then the sun comes out and everything's sparkling and the lakes are perfect. It's like, I just sit back and live vicariously, even though I'm there. Hopefully what we start here, they continue through their lives for healthy lives. Get their own families involved in things like this. Support community initiatives, try to support protection of our environment. All of that gets built in here. I know it seems like a really high level of hope and dreams, but if history is something to be followed, I can see that it's actually worked.